Yeah, so hi everyone. This is the SIG Compute meeting, and yeah, we can jump straight into it. So Ali, you have the first bullet is yours. You want to take it away?
Hey, yes, thank you. So we're exploring the use of probes with VMI objects, and I wanted to share a use case here, and wanted to get folks' thoughts on how this use case is achieved in other environments. So what just to give a little bit of context, we deploy some long running services as VMs. Think about that service like a load balancer or something like that, right? Uh, the issue is that sometimes that service could start failing silently, and something at the outer layer of the stack fails, and that's how we figure out that this service is failing. So in order to solve that problem, we wanted to use probes, that the probe will do its thing, figure out that the service is failing, and try to recover. But the issue with using probes is that this is a stateful service. So simply stopping it and restarting that service is not enough. The way to recover this service is to kick off some kind of a workflow that slowly drains the service, make sure that it is highly available, and then start a new instance once all the drain logic has been successful. So really what we need is a probe which can somehow let us know that this service is failing, but it doesn't take this term like action of terminating the VMI. Sorry. I'm curious if folks have run into this use case, and how it is being solved in the community.
Yeah, thank you, Ali. I mean, it sounds interesting in general. Do you have any like issue open or a doc open to look like to I don't know, to see like more information or a concrete example?
I do not. I just wanted to get a sense of prior art in this space. If it is helpful, we can definitely take an action item to, create a document or something like that that describes it with a concrete example. But I didn't wanted to do that if this was discussed before, and we can read things from there. So um, looks like we've not run into that yet, and it will be helpful to create a document around it.
Yeah, maybe even a simple upstream issue where you like give an example and share some more details would be helpful.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Before jumping into the open floor, I did want to talk about a few more things that I think we need to discuss. First of all is the Alvaro reached me out regarding the object graph sub-resource. So it's owned by SIG Storage, but we did assign someone to be an approver, or Alice. So just to catch up with this one, so if we want to move it to tracked, I think that it's best to talk with the storage folks to do so. Alice, let's see if she's on the call. She's not. Okay, so I'll either way ping her to understand what's the situation
Hey,
of this one.
Itamar, I can probably talk about it. if.
Yep. Yeah, sounds good.
So what do you want to know? Just
So I know that there's been like a debate whether it should be in core Kubert or live externally somewhere, right? This was the main discussion around this one.
yeah, I haven't checked it recently, but I think there like Alice, I think was wondering if it could be a library.
Yeah, and
whether
Alice
it should.
just commented the other day, and she seemed okay with the sub-resource option. I tried to give some arguments there in that comment. Yeah, she seemed okay with it. I was mainly wondering if maybe we should maybe from propose for consideration to track, because I've been reviewing the web process earlier today and I didn't find anything, any criteria to move from propose for consideration to track. So since we already have the approver assigned, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, sure. We can move it to track. Just take into consideration that the freezing is coming in 7 days, so we still need it to be approved. And yeah, it's best if also somebody from compute can give an LGTM or something like that. I see Vladik is involved here. I'll also take another look on this. But it would be great to get an approval from storage folks as a starting point.
Yeah, sure. I think also I first need another round of reviews, mainly to check the two API options. There's one option that's more like a flat dependency list, and another one that's more like a hierarchical representation. The second one seems to be winning, but still, if more people could take a look and give their opinion, I would really appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you. And I'll definitely take another look.
Thank you.
So in terms of planning, I think we're pretty much done, right? If somebody has anything to say about one of these, then this is the time. And if not, we can move to the next item. So Lee, how are you doing?
Hey, sorry. So, yeah, this is just a quick heads up. I know that some folks are already aware of this within SIG compute, but within a SIG network enhancement, there was a discussion about potentially introducing a new centralized condition to control the live migration of a VM during a hot plug during a live update. I kind of commented on the initial enhancement that, like, for me personally, this feels like something that should be in a separate enhancement and kind of coordinated between the SIGs, and everyone kind of moves across at the same time to this new way of doing things. But others didn't agree, and I didn't really feel like I had a strong enough kind of case to kind of block anything. So the VIP itself is actually landed now, but on the SIG compute kind of side of things, do we want to track this work as something that we can look at in the future? Probably not for 1.6, but assuming this lands in the current state for 1.7 or something. And yeah, does anyone else have any concerns with this kind of approach as well? It feels like the pattern that got us into this mess in the first place with hot plug and having various different implementations, but I might be reading into it too much. But yeah. Anyway, thoughts from the group would be appreciated.
Yeah, and it might be related to the point that I have right afterwards, which is about the moving the hot plug mechanism to use in place resizing instead of light migration. So yeah, it might be related. I had a discussion with Vladik earlier actually about whether we should completely remove live migration as a way of hot plugging. And we thought about a few reasons to keep it around as a fallback mechanism for a few scenarios. But yeah, I see your point. I think that's yeah. I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, originally we wanted like somebody from each SIG to hack all of the webs, right? I mean, for somebody from compute to look at this and hack this. Sometimes we do miss stuff and stuff like that, but this is still alpha also, right? So or
not
not.
really, no. So like they're not introducing a feature gate for this particular behavior.
Gotcha.
So both live update and Nick hot plug are already GA. So the argument in the enhancement was that this is essentially a bug fix. That I can kind of see, like at the moment, after the live migration hardening, the user can't manually invoke the live migration that's required for a Nick hot plug. So this is just automating that process with Nick hot plug and aligning it with the other implementations. You know, they could have put it behind a policy with a feature gate, whatever, and you know that would have let us graduate it and let people use it and enable it before GA. But yeah, and as the enhancement stands at the moment, that isn't the case. For me, that isn't a massive issue. That my biggest concern is just this, you know, introducing another centralized condition. It's a great idea, and it's a great proposal. I think just it's something that without coordination between the SIGs is potentially just going to fall through the cracks, and you know, SIG network are the only ones that are going to use it, and you know, compute and storage aren't going to follow up. What about it?
Oh yeah, sorry. What I'm trying to say is that I think it's not the end. Like it's not the final decision whether or not we're going to, you know, they are going to change this. I think, I mean, we still, the PR review is still ahead of us, and we can definitely chime in there and block the PR if we see that this is not going in the right direction and affecting some other things. So I think it's just the fact that we agreed on the design right now. I mean, it's not set in stone. I think if there are good reasons not to do it, then we can express this on the PR.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Vlad, are you standing near a microwave or something? Because your mic is awful, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. No, I actually. Is it better?
No, there's just interference or something. Does everyone else hear it as well? I think Etta might have heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear it.
But yeah, I got the gist of what you were saying. We do have another opportunity, and the design isn't set in stone at this point. It's that's definitely true. I just feel like this specific part of the design is just screaming out for a bit more coordination between the SIGs. But yeah, let's see the initial implementation PR, and hopefully the other SIGs chime in at that point, formally or not, and say, okay, we'll sign up to use this. Because again, without that centralizing enhancement, VIP or whatever, or discussion or agreement, like this could just end up as a unicorn only used by SIG network, even if it's a valid design. So yeah, that's just my main concern with this.
Yeah, and I agree that we need to improve in this because like part of the point of having SIGs is you being like more focused on a certain area, but we must go out there and review other webs from different SIGs to make sure we're coordinated. By the way, at the end of the release cycle, we'll do like a retro session to gain feedback from everyone about the web process and everything else that we do. This is the first cycle, so makes sense that we're not doing it perfectly. So if you have like better idea of I don't know how to do this coordination or yeah, how we can do things better, then let us know. Okay, thank you for that, Lee. I'll just go through this one real quick. So as I said, it's like a proposal to support in-place hot plug. It basically relies on the in-pod resize feature from Kubernetes that has just graduated to beta. That's why I thought it's a good time to implement this one. I don't think we should track it for version 1.6. We don't have enough time for that, but yeah, that's something that we want to keep in mind. And by the way, there is a current limitation for dedicated CPUs, but they're already working on addressing this one. So yeah. And I saw that there's another point. Ken, do you want to take it
This
away?
is not going to this. I mean, you're not planning to land this in a week, right?
No. That's what I said. I don't plan it for 1.6. We can reiterate it on the next release and maybe just review the design until then.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So for IBM secure executions, the main point I think 2 weeks ago was the privileged pod, which I did find a solution to. Being since the launch security type essentially just instructs libvirt to do changes to the device configuration, you can just do the changes yourself in the XML. That way libvirt doesn't know it's a secure execution VM, so it doesn't check for this firmware folders, so you can run the pod unprivileged. It's not necessarily the cleanest solution, but it's better than a privileged pod. The other part open here still is the discussion about the API. But I can't do that one on my own.
Yeah.
So
Is it better now? By the way, can you hear me? Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
A lot better.
So I think the discussion about API, we can defer it. And ideally, I think Alice had this idea of creating a group, like a dedicated for confidential computing, just in general, and then we could maybe there figure out a better API, how to, have all of these live together. For now, I would say if the main concern was about it was about the privileged pod, then I think it's okay to go ahead to alpha if you solve that. But we have a week, and we need to make sure that we can land this in the week. So my point is that let's defer the discussion about the API.
Yeah, and
like-
if it was my comments about the API that we were referring to, yeah, feel free to just discount them for now and we can follow up later with that. That's fine.
No, I don't think it was only yours. I mean, I was also hoping for some kind of a better API for all of these architectures, and not just listing them, one by one, but just to find a way for a user to express what he wants. I want a secure execution, and then you land on a node. You land on a specific architecture, and then you know how to enable it. You land on a specific architecture, and so on. So I'm not entirely sure how to do this right now. So I'm not going to.
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on the solution, mainly because, for example, for secure execution, we don't have any configuration options. You can just tell it, do it or do it not. There is no options that need to be set or configured, where I don't know what is required on the options for SEV, for example, but they have a lot of them. And I think Intel TDX isn't even in the XML for libvirt. I think they have some kind of plugin or so, what I saw. I just did a quick search. I'm not an expert on that one. So I guess the main problem is that every architecture has a different implementation and needs for that.
Yeah, but in the end, we need to not to confuse users. So I mean, I understand that there are tons of different configurations, but we need to find some kind of a middle ground. That's why I wanted to have feedback from other groups as well.
Yeah, I think probably it'll end up something like you here define the type you want, which implementation, or maybe that can be inferred from the host, and then you have something like a free text field or so to set the specific options maybe.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, the thing that I want to avoid is that you know, here the user would be asking for a specific architecture, but the CPU doesn't match, so we'll have tons of validations, you know, in the API that this doesn't work with this and this doesn't work with that, and then you know you have to list both CPU and these architectures. I would ideally want to avoid all of this. But for now, it's fine. I mean, we have a feature gate and
Cool. Anything else about this one? All right. Then I guess this was the last topic for today, unless somebody else had anything else to say. Cool. Then thank you, everybody, and see you next week.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.